with regards to administration. So I'm hoping you're familiar with my name, but then if you aren't, I am Michelle Mayuba Rachel. I'm the IPSF Secretary General from 2024, that's last year, up to 2026, because this is a 2-year mandate. I will keep my slides fairly short, or as short as possible, but I'll be covering a brief introduction to IPSF and a brief introduction to the 71st IPSF General Assembly and why you need to be in the Congress so that you can participate in the General Assembly. I'm sure most of us have been in a presentation on what is IPSF before, but I'll just be is the International Pharmaceutical Students Federation. It is the umbrella body that represents over 500,000 pharmacy and pharmaceutical science students and recent graduates up to 4 years after your graduation in more than 100 countries across the world. So these numbers are quite big. So it means we are quite a big organization and we have several members scattered across the world working towards a specific goal or a specific vision to improve the pharmacy and pharmaceutical science education that we have now and the practice that we will get into after we graduate. So what is our key or top focus as a federation? We mostly look at promoting improved public health through the provision of information, education, networking, and a range of publications and professional initiatives that run within the federation. We are more than halfway through the mandate right now, and I'm sure maybe some of us have seen a particular competition going on, an opportunity to have to be part of an external representation for networking. You've seen a couple of publications out, education on specific public health initiatives and stuff like that. And there's so many more that are yet to come for the rest of the mandate. So a brief background on IPSF. It was formed way back in 1949 when 8 member countries came together and thought it would be wise for pharmacy and pharmaceutical science students to come together and have one voice in advocating for what they want. Currently, we are the oldest faculty-based international student organization in the world, and this year we'll be clocking 76 years of existence in August. And some of the key principles or values that have kept us going throughout up to now is that we are non-governmental, we are non-political, we are non-religious and non-profit. This ensures that we have open arms and we accept everyone as long as you have the vision and the mission to support pharmacy and pharmaceutical science practice and education across the world. So IPSF being a global organization, we have a headquarters because, way back in 1949, people would send letters and people would have offices and all of that. So we established our headquarters in The Hague in the Netherlands. That is the overall federation's headquarters. But then despite it being a global federation, we also have the regional offices that facilitate implementation of activities. And as much as we have the headquarters, quite a number of our activities are digital or online to facilitate everyone to be able to participate and gain more knowledge and experience within the federation. These are just a couple of happy pictures that we took outside the headquarters office. So as I've mentioned, we have the global office and we have the regional offices. So the regional offices are there to facilitate us or to enable us to carry out activities within the regional context that we have, because educational systems might vary from one region to another, practice might vary from one region to another, cultures might vary from one region to another. So to be able to accommodate all of that and still enable us to carry out activities, we have the regional offices, which are 5. There's the African Regional Office, which covers Sub-Saharan Africa. There's the Asia Pacific Regional Office. There's the Eastern Mediterranean Regional Office that covers from North Africa way into Eastern Mediterranean. There's the European Regional Office and Pan American Regional Office. So as much as we have the global office, which is headed by the executive committee, the regional offices are coordinated and led by the regional working groups to ensure that we have projects and activities running throughout the year. So in brief, I won't get into so much details. In terms of the global office, we have the executive committee that helps run everything across board. So there's the secretariat with the president, president-elect, secgen, and treasurer. Anything from IPSF to partners, internal relations that handles inside the federation, media and publications that also help design these slides, so they cover most of our publicity. There's pharmacy education that looks at how can we improve our education systems to enable us to make better pharmacists afterwards. There's professional development where you get to participate in specific competitions or learning points of learning areas to improve your professional side. And there's the public health aspect, which is advocacy in terms of health and community health. We also have the student exchange program, which is the largest program, I think largest and oldest program currently running in IPSF. And there's the World Congress, which we are here today for. These are some of the partners that we work with, but we have a very long list of partners. So we've talked a lot about IPSF, and I think one thing we could pick out is that IPSF is global. Since we're not all together and we can't all come together every single event, we mostly work online. But then a point to note is almost annually we try to have IPSF events, which can bring us back together, help us remind ourselves about our mission, our vision, our goals, what we want, and it creates that networking spirit and IPSF vibe that we normally have. So these IPSF events are divided into the 5 regional offices, and then there's the mother IPSF events that brings us all together. So for the 5 regional offices, you can see here, there's the African Pharmaceutical Symposium that will be in Zimbabwe. There's the Asia Pacific Pharmaceutical Symposia that will be in Malaysia. There's the Eastern Mediterranean Pharmaceutical Symposium that will be in the UAE. Congratulations for them for bidding and winning. There's the European Regional Symposium that will be in the UK. And there's the Pan American Regional Symposium that will be in Mexico. In June to July, we will have the mother of Nairobi, Kenya, as we're all aware. These are some of the factors we from previous. It's always vibe. Else should I attend the World Congress? So this is mostly for those who are keen on specific matters. As much as you're traveling for fun, you'd like to also make some productive work and ensure that you grow within the federation. Now we have one next thing that you can add onto your checklist in terms of why you should attend the Congress. That's the 71st IPSF General Assembly. So this is just a snapshot of how it looks. As you can see, it's quite formal. Almost looks like the United Nations headquarters where everyone is facing the front and they're deliberating on very serious matters with regards to the federation. So what is the IPSF General Assembly that looks so formal? So the IPSF General Assembly, if we were to equate it to something we can relate to a bit more, it's similar to the AGM that our member organizations might have. That's the annual general meetings. So in terms of IPSF, the General Assembly is the highest decision-making body of the Federation. And it's the highest decision-making body of the Federation because there we have at least a specific quarter of our member organizations are present, and we now have an agenda and we discuss every single thing in terms of the federation, in terms of what happened before, what is happening currently, and what can happen in the future to enable us as members and the federation itself to also grow. So who exactly is part of this whole assembly? There's the member organization. Of course, we can't host everyone from all member organizations. So the member organizations have 3 representatives who will be present. There's the chairperson of the region of the General Assembly, which will be the parliamentary coordinator. She's also under the SecGen portfolio. There's the executive committee. There's the assistants to the General Assembly who help us to at least ensure everything is running well. And then there's the observers who want to just understand how is everything flowing and how is everything going within the General Assembly and within the Federation. So why your member organization or yourself need to be part of the IPSF General Assembly? First of all, the General Assembly, as I've told you, it looks at before, current, and future. And through that whole aspect, you get to understand the Federation a bit better, how it works, the progress we've made, the vision that we want, and as some of the leaders finish up their mandate, you're the next people who will take up the mantle and be the next IPSF leaders. Next, we make decisions that will enable the growth of your member organization, plus yours in extension within the federation, because the federation is made up of the members, and if the members grow, the federation grows. So as you make the decisions within the General Assembly, you'll be able to make decisions that will benefit your organization as well. Next, we of course make decisions that will facilitate the growth of the federation and our regional offices. And finally, we contribute to the vision of improving pharmacy and pharmaceutical science in the future. Remember our slogan as IPSF, students today, pharmacists tomorrow. So through these discussions, we decide, okay, what should we do in the next 2-3 years? This is good. Okay, we are making progress on this, and this will enable us to make pharmaceutical practice better or our current education systems better. Next, so when will the 71st IPSF General Assembly take place exactly? Because we've just said it will be during the Congress. So on the sidelines of the 70th World Congress, we will have the 71st IPSF General Assembly. And during this time, that is in August, the physical sessions of the 71st General Assembly will run from day 1, that's after the arrival date, up to the last day of the Congress. I know this sounds a little bit heavy. That's why we have gaps in between, and we're working closely with the chairperson of the World Congress to give us at least more flexibility in terms of a break, but still enable us to have enough time to meet our agenda points. But if in case our discussions are so passionate and we need to continue them, of course, we will have online sessions that will be later in September, where we'll wrap up the whole General Assembly for this particular mandate. Now, what steps can you take to be part of the 71st IPSF General Assembly? The first step is quite direct. First of all, you have to register to be part of the 70th IPSF World Congress delegation, because since the General Assembly will be physical, we might not be able to accommodate online attendees or have a hybrid system. So you have to be there physically so that you can experience this whole experience with all of us. Secondly, after you've registered, you can reach out to your member organization and find out if the 3 representative slots are available. If yes, nominate yourself to be an official delegate within your member organization, and later on in May or June, we'll be sending out documentations where your member organizations will be listing down who they will officially want to be part of the official delegate. So don't be shy, nominate yourself and see if you have a chance to join the General Assembly. Thirdly, if you don't get to be nominated, you can look out and apply to be an assistant in the General Assembly, where you don't need so much experience. As long as you can at least maybe write minutes, or you can hand out documents, very simple tasks, you can apply for that. And if you want to kind of have a full taste of the World Congress while still observing the General Assembly sessions from afar, you can apply to be an observer during the assembly, and that will enable you to kind of have the best of both worlds. But remember, the first step is to register and be part of the 70th IPSF World Congress delegation. If you have any questions, I'm here, so feel free to ask, and let me know let me know if you'll be able to join us this August. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate the fact that you've been very brief, but on point with most of the items that were relevant for General Assembly component. I would want to open the floor for questions or clarifications, if any, from the participants. If you'd want to unmute, I think that would be okay. But if you can also chat in the chat box, feel free to do that. Any questions for our Secretary General? Any concerns, clarifications? Okay. But just in case you come across a thought that you need clarity on, please don't hesitate to share in the chat box. Cynthia is assisting me in following through the contributions. If you just joined us, we had a brief introduction to IPSF as well as the General Assembly, and our Secretary General has shared as well on the 71st. For me, a takeaway would be the first step for everything, which is on registration. Again, that is why we are doing all this, trying to do our best in terms of pushing for registrations, trying to urge you to want to participate in the 71st IPSF World Congress, which is very historic in its nature, and it's a good opportunity for us to be at the center of conversations, especially those that impact our welfare as students and recent graduates in IPSF. Okay. So a question that just streamed in for you, Michelle. So regarding the online session in September, do we register for that separately? That's from Lynn from I think Jordan.
Okay, thank you, Lynn, for that question. So to be very direct, no. Most of the times, as I've mentioned, from May or June, we'll be sending some documentations to the CPs, presidents, and the student exchange officers to officially communicate to us who will be the 3 official representatives, and that the 3 official representatives will kind of be the final list until September. For those who will also register to be observers during the same time span between June, July latest, that will be the final list, and those will be the specific people who will also attend in September. For the assistants, if you apply to be part of the assistants during the same time period that the applications will be open, it's the same people who will be the assistants during the online session. So we won't have a separate registration. And okay, yeah, it's more of documentation. The registration is more so for the World Congress. The documentation and the official communication is mostly for the General Assembly. But my team and Manyala's team work closely to at least ensure that we have representations in terms of the countries and the member organization.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. I hope, Lynn, you got that response clearly. I see a T. However, Michelle is with us. I think, Michelle, you can also just engage maybe with the participants in the chat box for key points. I'd like to, thank you. I'd like to do my part. Ogoti is on his way, not yet settled, but as soon as he is ready, he will also join in. I will try my best to also be brief, but as well not to miss out on some key issues that I think would be important for us to take note of. So I will share my screen and then take it through a presentation that I have, and then I also demonstrate the registration platform for you to see what happens or what should happen when someone wants to register for the World Congress. So let me know if you can see my screen yet.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as you all know, my name is Silvanus Manyala. I am honored to be the chairperson of the 70th Ipsf World Congress to be held in Nairobi this year. And the overall overarching theme for the event itself is advancing pharmacy education and practice for global health impact. The event is taking place in Nairobi, specifically at one of our universities that is also offering training in pharmacy that is called the United States International University Africa, or in abbreviation, it's USIU Africa. And I'm also doing this on behalf of the host MO, which is KEFSA, Pharmacy Students Association of Kenya, and being supported heavily by the executive committee as well locally here. The dates for the event in totality would be from August the 4th to August 18th. Of course, these are dates we keep on emphasizing and reiterating so that we plan ourselves accordingly. If it's looking at our schedules, if it's booking flights, if it's just wanting to register for the event, that is a very important information for you to take note of. So basically, KEFSA is one of the, I would say, one of the most active organizations currently in IPSF. And we have not so much in terms of history being established in 2012. It's about 13 years now. And we are a registered society in Kenya representing about 3,000 members in 9 universities. And of course, the community is growing, the population grows, and as well as Kenya trying to meet its human resource capacity. But KEPSA generally is like any other MO in IPSF, where we focus on building a closely knit community of pharmacy students, fostering cohesion, and of course, team spirit internally. So it gives also a platform for everybody to, of course, interact and showcase what they are doing in terms of advancing the study and, of course, the practice of pharmacy profession. And, of course, Michelle has already taken us through IPSF, which is one of the oldest faculty-based organizations, as well as an advocacy student organization. So what would be relevant for us in this context is the 70th edition of the World Congress. I know we've shared this before, but in the context of Kenya, this is the first time we are hosting the World Congress. However, we've hosted the regional symposia back in 2016. And that same year, the World Congress was also held in Africa, in Zimbabwe. So we happen to have swapped roles because this year Zimbabwe is hosting the 13th FPS in Harare. But that said, the theme that we are focusing on this time emphasizes the role of pharmacy in addressing the pressing global health challenges, which I think we are better placed to as well jump on the conversation, knowing well we would be the next workforce in pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences within the next decade. So this gives us an opportunity to come together, share best practices, of course, learn and network for the bigger picture of IPSF and, of course, the profession in totality. So this is briefly highlights on what the program would feature. I know we are, as of now, most of us are conversant with what happens during the World Congress. So it should not be any different this time, but we will try our best to ensure the experience is better, given the context of Kenya being the host this time. But we'd have workshop and symposia happening in addition to general capacity building and professional development, cultural exchange, which is very important in this case, bringing over 100 nationalities with diverse cultures. It's something that we are keen on. We also do public health campaigns and community engagement. Then we have social events and the social nights that are in our schedule that I'll also be sharing in a few. Then also an opportunity to have exhibitions and interact with the exhibitors who are either in pharma, in healthcare, or just generally the global health industry. And as I've already explained, the theme sort of encapsulates the essential role of pharmacy in addressing global health challenges. So the picture on the screen is two of my colleagues, Suzanne, who's my wife, and Dennis, who's also in charge of PCT and excursions last year in Korea during one of the GA sessions that Michelle has already alluded to. So hopefully we'd have you as well, most of us participating in something similar this August. We are focused on about 5 symposia tracks, which will be spread out throughout the week-long event. So one would focus on addressing global health challenges, and we are currently in talks with some stakeholders and some high-profile speakers to deliver that session. It will be on the first day of formal business for the World Congress. That's on August the 8th. And then followed by the role of pharmacists in patient safety. So basically in pharmacovigilance, then global partnerships and exchanges, pharmacy practice advancement, as well as research and innovation. We will also have a couple of workshops. We are in the process of finalizing the documents for these, which will be included in the Congress booklet. So please look forward to more information on some of these items. But in a snapshot, we'll have discussions and workshops around digital health solutions, the nexus between climate change and planetary health, SRH. We'll have conversations around AMR and AMS, as well as an NCDs workshop. Okay, there's a very important discussion or opportunity we've included in our schedule that involves IPSF alumni. So we'll have like a general workshop on career, mentorship, as well as just having the alumni share with us what happens, what awaits us beyond schoolwork, beyond graduation, and what is in the market currently. Then we'll also look at conversation around gender equality, which we have currently, I'd say, tried our best as a team as well to implement. For instance, we have 75% of the World Congress team being female, which is kind of strategic as well, because we want to explore conversations around the role of gender in global health. Then, of course, eventually we want to see if we can have an opportunity to discuss entrepreneurship in pharma as well as financial literacy. And we hope to announce or maybe share more details on these themed workshops before registration closes. Briefly, numbers-wise, we are looking at 400 minimum participants, an opportunity for us to host this big number as well. The venue capacity would sustain that number. I've mentioned about 5 symposia as well. I have an opportunity to directly and indirectly engage with over 3,000 CAFSA members. The event is going to target 100 plus countries in IPSF. We have about 8 workshops, like I've mentioned, and of course, the overall IPSF membership is about 500,000. So again, an opportunity for us to not only impact the 400 in-person delegates, but also extend some of the experience to the general IPSF community. Another key item, of course, that would facilitate our first step to everything. Our first step in this case is to register, yeah? So you'd want to know the fees, okay? We have this publicized, but it's always nice to progressively emphasize. So as you can see, we have made some progress in terms of timelines. So we are currently in phase 2, and the rates for phase 2 is 540 euro. Of course, the extended deadline gives us an opportunity to take advantage of that rate or special rate before we transition to phase 3 later on April 21st. Okay, that will be 40 additional euro to that rate. For LIT, We targeting two demographics. So we have the East African community, which is basically the union or the coming together of the East African community partner states, including Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, DRC. And this is an opportunity for us as well to, because the event is closer to us, we want to have our neighbors also enjoy the privilege of participating at a discounted rate of about 20 euro off compared to non-EAC community, which is at 260. The slots for LIT are limited. We're looking at about 30 minimum and 40 maximum. So again, an opportunity for you to grab, because I know LIT graduates are some of the important persons that we engage throughout in the IPSF activities. I've noted that most leaders in IPSF, most members in the IPSF team must have at one point participated in LIT, which is a good opportunity for you to learn more about the federation, get trained on leadership skills, and that's also another opportunity for you to grow professionally. And then the post-Congress tour, also grouped into two. We have the domestic group and international. For PCT, I really won't say much because I know it's pretty straightforward. Kenya is a safari destination. So if you start from that, this is, I think Nairobi sells itself in terms of promoting tourism. So an opportunity for you to take up the remaining slots. For international, we have, I think, 7 slots remaining as of yesterday. Domestic slots are a couple, but we are looking at an event or a situation where we can donate some of the domestic slots back to international if we get more interest in international. So again, if you haven't registered for the event itself, feel free to take up the slots while they last. Okay. Something to note is that you will not necessarily register for PCT alone. It will be in combination with either main congress or both LIT main congress, and then of course PCT as an additional ticket. Then locally here in Kenya, we are targeting a different group. The event happening in Nairobi is based on discussion that we did earlier during bidding, and we noted that most students or the recent graduates are from the city. We have 5 universities in Nairobi, so that gives our participants locally here an advantage of being proximal to the venue, proximal to the facilities. So the rates without accommodation included, without the venue transfers, is at 250 for students, pre-interns and interns. And then, of course, young pharmacists by the 4th year of post-graduation, they would pay 300. And that is 35,500 and 42,500 in Kenyan shillings. And then briefly on activities that are awaiting us. So as you can see, LIT would begin on the 4th of August. So that's when we have the arrival. And then we'll have everything taking place within the 3 days or 4 days. Yeah. And then, of course, August 7th is when LIT ends, as we anticipate the transition to the main congress. And for LIT alone, we are looking at more than the training session. So we have come up with a plan to include a workshop which will be exclusive only for LIT participants, an excursion that as well that is exclusive to LIT participants, project presentations. Of course, we are in consultation with the training committee and the training coordinator at global level. And we've also come up with a social hangout, that we would also be doing for our LIT participants, an opportunity or just as adding value to LIT itself beyond the training sessions. And then since the executive committee of IPSF will be with us in Nairobi from I think 2nd of August because of the executive meeting 3, it will be an opportunity as well for the LIT participants to have a meet and greet with the EXCO. something we want to engage the EXCO on and actualize an opportunity for one-on-ones with the members or LIT participants in this case. The main Congress, as I had already alluded to, has a lot of activities happening, but all this happens within 1 week. Okay, so arrivals would be on 7th for those who will not be participating in LIT, and departures would be on 15th for those who will not be proceeding to PCT. So from the opening ceremony, which is something that we want to share more on, it will be high profile. We are looking at high profile guests for our launch and opening ceremony, pending some confirmations. It will be very exciting once we close on that, but it's something that I am excited about. Hopefully we all register and be present to witness. The symposia workshops and of course abstract presentations is something to look forward to. I will briefly mention on abstract presentation because we have made a recent announcement a few hours ago regarding the theme. We'll have the PD competitions, which encompasses clinical skills event, the industrial skills event, patient counseling event, pharmacy profession, advocacy, and I think what I'm missing out on is the IAC. So again, opportunities for us to participate in. I've already alluded to the fact that we'll have exhibitions, excursion as well. We have like a whole day of excursion, and the General Assembly will also be happening concurrently. And I think that has been very clear from Michelle's presentation. And not forgetting the social nights, which are very important to us, from the welcoming night to the Kenyan night, to the international night, up to the gala night and the awarding ceremony for closure that would be happening on August the 14th. And then, of course, PCT has also some activities. We are doing it in 2 parts. The first part begins in Nairobi. Nairobi is the only capital city in the world hosting a national park in it. So we are proximal to the park. We'll have like a half-day game drive, and then we will fly to the coastal area of Kenya, where we'll finish up the remaining 2 days of PCT. That will involve visits to some historical monuments, a forest hike and nature trail at Arabuko Sokoke Forest Reserve. You'll have an opportunity to visit Malindi Marine Park and, of course, swim with the fishes. A beach party as well in Watamu, something that I think the committee in charge is heavily working on, and they will be sharing this with us progressively. And then after all is done, on 18th, we'll be traveling back to Nairobi via train. And since it will be during the day, it's also an opportunity for us to experience the safari, because the train trip or the rail line passes through some national game reserves between Nairobi and Mombasa. Something that we have also announced the recent few days is our partnership with USIU Africa, one of the biggest universities in Nairobi. And they are also looking forward to hosting us. We've already recognized ourselves as partners, but we are still in the process of finalizing our contract, something that we will be signing as soon as we are able to. Something that I also wanted to mention maybe in advance, especially for CPs who are in the room, is that we have successfully negotiated for waiver on the auditorium rooms, the auditorium hall, in this case, the one that will be hosting the event. And we've been given 100% waiver, which is something that is exciting for us because it helps lessen or reduce the budgetary burden that we have been facing. So again, that is giving us more opportunities to now focus on other things, especially now on the quality of the event and just the general participation and registration. As for accommodation, we will be doing or hosting our participants in a hotel facility 5 minutes from the Congress venue. We have a couple of malls around shopping malls for participants to also visit for shopping if need be. The facility is rated at 4-star. So it's one of those that we have mapped out as being capable of hosting the international delegation, especially from IPSF in this case. And it's about 10 kilometers from the airport. Our airport is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, 25 kilometers from Wilson Airport, where we also intend to fly from for PCT, and about 13 kilometers from the SGR train terminal in Nairobi. So when we get back to Nairobi, journey from the train station to the hotel is about 13 kilometers. So should be fine. For those of us who would want to explore the city, it's about 15 minutes drive, okay, especially with moderate traffic. Okay, so that is something we are currently heavily on. This is included in my March monthly report, but we have not yet signed out the contract with the facility. Hopefully, we do that the next coming month because we're still assessing the number of participants coming in the registration. So once we close phase 2 registration, we can easily project and know the numbers that we would be needing. But for just assurance purposes, the hotel itself can support about 324 persons. So it's quite spacious, and it also has the capacity to support our participants. I mentioned briefly on PD competitions. We would be rolling this soon, finalizing discussions with the professional development chairperson. But from the 4 or 5 competitions that we're looking at, we'll do it in 2 categories: a beginner category for preclinical years and an advanced category for clinical years. It will be a team-based competition, so we also are fine-tuning the criteria for this, but it's taking up the shape of the UEFA football competition, and we are trying to fine-tune similar or a variant for that. It's beginning online, then we'll have the semis and the finals happening in person in Nairobi. So again, something to look forward to because we have very exciting awards, very exciting participation format for this, and something that you will not want to miss out on. I also alluded to the fact that we have some key social nights and across all the days. So welcoming nights on August the 7th. Then we'll also have some other nights in between before we close with the gala and the award ceremony on August the 14th. A key night that we have introduced is the alumni reunion and networking night. So this targets the IPSF alumni, and in this case, it would be past event attendees, past CPs, past FEOs, giving them an opportunity to as well share on what it has been for the last 75 years of the Federation. And Michelle has also supported us in getting materials from the IPSF archives, which we will also be showcasing during the World Congress for us to just look back, celebrate the legacy of the Federation, use the opportunity to connect, network, and of course, collaborate for the future. Okay, so if you know any alumni in your MOs, any alumni in your networks who would benefit from this, it will be good for you to invite them. And also maybe in the next few slides, highlight how the alumni can participate, because we have come up with a special registration package for them. Then one of the nights would be a free night. We will not be having any activity happening. So again, an opportunity for you to go out, experience Nairobi, the nightlife, if you'd want to. If you want to just have time to do other activities as well, that is an opportunity that we have created in the program. Some key and exciting announcements that we've managed to do so far. Some based on partnerships, including the Ethiopian Airlines deal, is that we have successfully negotiated for 12% discount on air fares for business and economy class, something that is exciting for us because it will help facilitate travel and make the participation even easier for IPSF members. We have also publicized the terms and conditions for this, but a key thing that we wanted to just share as well is that the validity for the discount has been negotiated to come in as early as July 24th and as late as August 29th. So you could come to Nairobi well in advance, do your stuff, participate in the Congress, or you could stay longer in Kenya beyond the PCT, which ends on 18th. So we'll have like about 10 more days for your activities if need be, and still enjoy the Ethiopian Airlines discount. Yes, and Ethiopian Airlines has about 180 destinations. So again, being one of the leading airlines in Africa, it quite gives us an opportunity to have participants from all over the world coming to Nairobi. We've also released a referral scheme opportunity for us. This is targeted for those who have successfully registered in the phase 1 and phase 2, and they have paid their fees, so they can refer friends. It's quite simple. It just a registrant applying for a referral code, which is again optional because we don't want to force people to participate in this. But those who've already registered, they can request for a code from the RC, and then people who are registering after them can use this code. So we are looking at identifying top 3 ambassadors for the World Congress who will be recognized and awarded during the gala night. And we are looking at either cash prizes as well as material or awards. So tips would be that you start early. So the sooner you register, of course, the sooner you get the referral code and the sooner you can start referring. Okay, so those who are registered in phase 1 can invite those in phase 2. Those in phase 2 can invite those in phase 3. And of course, we want you to stay updated so that you don't miss out on any opportunities and any announcements that we will be doing in terms of registration. I am excited to see who or which MO gives us the top 3. Minimum referrals is at 5, so it's quite achievable, and you can refer anyone from anywhere in the world. They don't have to be from your member organization. As for the special registration packages as well, we are very cognizant of the fact that we have some individuals who might not have the luxury of time to participate, especially the alumni. Okay, so we are proposing a 2-day, maybe 3 nights package, and they are paying 240 euros only. Okay, for phase 2. So that has also been extended to the Friends of the Federation. But basically, it's us utilizing the opportunity that exists in the schedule. I mentioned a workshop on career fair and mentorship. So that will be led by the alumni. And then later that evening, we have the alumni night and the reunion for that matter. So that is one of the nights that is common, but participants have the freedom to choose any other day in that arrangement. So if they want to come a few days prior to the alumni night, or they want to come during the alumni night and spend 2 extra nights as well. So we are a bit flexible on this, and we want to ask that in your networks, if you know any alumni who benefit from this participation, let them know that we have tailored the package and it's very, very, very flexible for them. There's a group we call individual members. For purposes of defining and for context is that these are individuals who are not represented by an organization in IPSF. So they subscribe for membership at an individual capacity. So they can also benefit from special registration by paying the IM fee to IPSF, or they can pay that fee inclusive of the registration fee, so that it is our responsibility as RC now to remit that fund back to IPSF. So it's more of making it easier, and we are putting that option available for individual members to take up. Individual members could also come from organizations that have lost membership, and they still want to participate in this IPSF event. So these individuals might not have the privilege or the luxury to wait until these MOs renew their membership with IPSF, for them to register. They can as well just directly register with us, and then we will sort out the remittance for membership to IPSF. The third category that can benefit from the individual membership package is member organizations that are applying for the first time for IPSF membership. And they usually send over, I think, 3 representatives who are official delegates. So again, they can take advantage of that opportunity, something that we are excited, and we've already communicated this to regional chairpersons, so that we grow the community, but also make it easier for the new members to participate in the World Congress. Then we have a group called chaperones. So we have some participants who need to be accompanied by guardians, or people who take care of them for one reason or the other. So that has already been implemented, and it's on case-by-case basis. So if any one of you is interested in tagging along a chaperone, please feel free to reach out to us for assistance, and also to facilitate payment for registration fee for both you and the chaperone. We've also called upon IPSF members, especially those in leadership, those who have experience with IPSF events from prior years, to share with us or share with the general IPSF community on why they need to participate, why it is important for MOs and individuals to be at the center of the conversation that will be happening in August this year. Those who have done the event previously can share testimonials as well. And we are looking forward to receiving more of this. We'll be having a social media campaign just showcasing the quotes in form of posts on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and all the platforms that we are on, for purposes of just urging other people to also come through. Something we hope to see people participate in heavily. CPs, we have a specific challenge for them. We have so far done, I think, 3 videos. We have some more submissions that we have lined up for publishing as well, but it's basically CPs doing a 30 to 60 seconds video in your vernacular or in your local language, your native language, inviting participants to come through and participate or register in the event, so that we spread out the information and also rally people to support. Hopefully we get to see more. I was excited about the video done by one of our own in KEFSA. Cynthia did a very nice video, one that you'd want to maybe look at on TikTok or IG Reel. And of course, CPs, again, this is an opportunity for you to take center stage in being part of the promotion plan. I want to also share briefly on Best Mobilizer Award. So again, this is targeted for CPs. We want to see the CP who gets us the most numbers of registrants from their MO. And we are promising to give them 50% reimbursement on their registration fee. So again, something that we hope CPs will take advantage of, helping us market the event, and of course, in return, stand a chance to win or get the 50% reimbursement. This is something that we have announced in the last few hours. Call for abstract submissions, and the themes are as shown on the screen. So this again is an opportunity for you to showcase your research or the works you've done, either in pharmacy innovations, global health challenges solutions, patient safety and QA, pharmacy practice advancement and transformation, digital health solutions, environmental sustainability, SRH, AMR, as well as pharmaceutical waste management. So the deadline is on 5th of June, something we hope to, by that time, we hope we'll have enough submissions for us to, consider either in oral abstract presentations as well as poster presentations. And then lastly, this is something that we have also recently done. We have received a lot of emails. Maybe some of you are here with us, people requesting to be facilitated in one way or another. And we have this special support fund that we are trying to mobilize funds for. It's a kitty that some philanthropists, maybe organizations can contribute to. And then we will use the funds that we have collected to support individuals who are facing financial constraints in participating in the event. And then also we are engaging the development fund committee of IPSF through the IPSF treasurer to announce the IPSF event grant, so that we have people applying or requesting for consideration, so that we make it even easier for most of us to participate. So something that we are looking forward to in the next few weeks to announce. So one is the IPSF event grant, and then I've also mentioned the special support fund that as an RC, we want to share. So that is basically it from my side in terms of what we managed to do so far. We are still open and also want to stay transparent in communicating on the event plans, challenges that we are facing so far, where you can come in and support, and how you can also participate in the event itself. So thank you so much for your time and your attention. I want to stop it here and open the floor for inputs as I confirm whether we have Moses with us for his presentation. Thank you so much. Opening the floor for questions, concerns, and inputs. Okay, so if none, let's transition to our event manager. I want to welcome Moses to share with us briefly on what he thinks, of course, about the World Congress, what he has to share with us generally as the events manager, and then we can maybe take up other questions later on after him. Feel free to unmute, Ogoti.
Can you hear me, Silvanus?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I don't know if you can see me. All right, so I don't know if I should say good evening or good night, but good night to us all, but don't go to sleep yet. So my name is Ogoti Moses. Here in Kenya, they call me Ogoti the boy child. That's the only gentleman with a boyish name. So I have the distinct honor of serving as the event manager for IPSF Global for this mandate. And I know probably we've never heard about the event manager because to my understanding, this role of the event manager was not, didn't have a leader in the previous mandate. And, I came to office and, I didn't really have a predecessor. But That said and done, I'm really humbled to serve. I'm in the internal portfolio working closely with Dori Ann. So I know you're asking yourself, what is the role of the IPSF event manager? Um, my role is basically to oversee and support the IPSF events, and that stems down to the IPSF regional symposiums and to the World Congress. I believe while if you followed through the presentation, you were able to hear of all the events that IPSF has, that is from the Afro Symposium, Para Symposium, Euro, IMRO, and so forth, and to the World Congress that has been scheduled to take place this August. I know much has been said, and I really don't want to bore you with a lot of, whatnots, my whatever. But in a nutshell, my role is to oversee all the facets that will ensure that the Congress is both impactful and memorable. Now, that includes collaborating with the various event chairperson and in subsequent to their committees, just to ensure that the Congress and all the IPCF events happen in the best way possible. So I don't know how many can just hear me, if you can just react so that I can know if I'm to stop here or to just continue. If you can hear me, I just want you to react. Okay. Uh, just react for me. I can see someone has done a love heart. I can, okay. I'm waiting for those who are, I've done online classes and I understand. You are speaking to yourself. Okay. So thank you so much. So I was told to basically talk about the Congress and to try and just make it, different. So I would like to share that I am a poet. I am a poet and I do perform spoken word poetry. And I was like, today I don't want to bore you with a lot of stuff. I just want to wrap this up with a poem. I don't know how many of you support that. I want to see if you're ready for this. Ivy, can see Fatma, Ntwali, Calvin, Suzanne. I can see we're like almost 13 here. So I just want to wrap this up very quickly with this space. So this is a dedication to you, pharmacists everywhere. So listen to this. This is for you. For those of us who have not been loved before, this is at least a poem for you. So beyond the label, we are not just drug givers. We are soul lifters. Human compendiums walking in white coats, dosages of hope wrapped in a blister pack of grace. We are the dopamine in despair, the omeprazole for a burning system, the salbutamol in a suffocating silence, the metformin when sugar coats too much truth. We balance lives like pH in titration tubes. A pharmacist is a formulation of science and soul, a walking prescription for passion, compounded with compassion. So who said that as pharmacists we can't spit bars in a lab coat? Now even Mayuba and Sylvanas can confirm that we raise the bar or drop punchlines while crushing tablets. I am a pharmacist, but I'm also a poet. So I can be the medicine to someone's soul and still cancel a patient on why ciprofloxacin should chase milk. Now this World Congress, it's your ideal formulation. The active ingredients: learning, laughter, legacy, our excipients, networking, nature, Nairobi nights, and chapatis too, that slap harder than jollof rice. Uliza wetu rice. Okay, come, I want to make a call, and to make a call to invite you to witness the World Congress, where minds bind like ligands, where innovations dissolve ignorance like effervescent tablets. Come, debate in panels that hit harder than pethidine and make connection that last longer than the depot injections. I want to invite you to come and witness the General Assembly that is more exciting than your high school assemblies. Come and make connections that last longer. Come, meet folks whose brainwaves match your frequency, where your dreams are not just over the counter, they are prescription strength. Please come. Welcome to Kenya, Nairobi, where the skyline kisses Mount Kenyan's mood swings, where matatus blast bangers louder than your AirPods, and chapatis spin so soft they could sedate hypertension. Yes, free chapatis issued by the government. Okay, not really, but we dream big here, And when you overdose on city vibes, we'll taper you off with the coastline, Mombasa. Now, even the people in the beach or in Mombasa will tell you that happiness comes with a coast. Now, where the waters will whisper, where spices flirt with your tongue, where times move pole pole, and the sunsets dissolve stress better than SS arise. Here, nature isn't a background, it's a living, breathtaking, breathing monograph we learn from baobabs and beaches, prescribing hikes and hammocks for burnout. So pack your passport and purpose, because the 7th IPSF World Congress isn't just a trip, it's a treatment plan. Final diagnosis you should attend for your career, for your creativity, TDS, for your community, TDS, and because deep down, even your soul needs a refill. So see you in Nairobi in the 70th World Congress. And please come hungry for growth and chapati. Thank you so much. That has been my time. Ogoti Moses, Ogoti the boy child. You can interact with my work, online. Go check it out on Spotify and whatnot, YouTube music. And here it's me telling you that you can come experience this vibe in the World Congress. I'll be there. So I miss this fun. So thank you for this opportunity. I am your fan event manager for this mandate. Looking forward to make the Congress exciting. Tell your friends that we'll be having a pharmacist who is a poet in the Congress. So you don't have to miss. I know we are like 15 here, 14. So please, let's invite someone, come to Kenya. Let's enjoy the Congress. Back to you, Mr. Silvanus. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ogoti. That was awesome. That was very brilliant from you. I'm not so sure anyone else was expecting a performance, a poetry delivery, but yeah, I think that's quite something. I like the fact that you curated it for this specific audience, and I'm not so sure what, how long you or what amount of time you took to write this, but I'm guessing it's very thoughtful of you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I look forward to, of course, working closely with you in rallying up um, everyone to participate in the World Congress. I understand that this is one of the years where we've had this position filled. So again, it's quite a privilege that you're also coming from Kenya. Makes it even easier for us to collaborate, work together, and of course, see to it that the World Congress is a success. So at this juncture, I just wanted to maybe as well assess the room if we have any questions for me, for Moses, and of course for Michelle in absentia. I think Michelle has dropped off for another meeting. But let me know if there's uh, anything that you would want us to clarify, support you with so far. Okay. I'd promised to briefly show you what the registration platform looks like. So let me know if you can see my screen. I want to quickly show you our one-stop hub for everything World Congress. So in as much as we are doing the information sessions, in as much as we are doing our social media posts, everything else we've tried our best to domicile them on our website. So as you can see, it's very comprehensive. It has a lot of items in the menu, header, and what is important for me right now would be the registration, which I've already explained in a couple of sessions earlier. And of course, we've also done that in our social media posts. It's very straightforward, but again, it's stepwise. It has 3 components to it. And the most important bit is the reservation. So as you can see, we have a timer running out for the next, that should be about 5 days, 6 roughly, because I think some hours have already gone into it. But basically, when you go to our website under registration, you're going to see some brief information on what entails, what the program entails. So LIT itself, and I've already explained the rates and especially the package for those rates. For main Congress as well, we are currently in phase 2, extended until April the 15th. So I'm also looking forward to us, taking up these limited slots, which are very competitive. And of course, before it gets a bit expensive later on in phase 3. Yeah. So there's a button here at the bottom that you can click to register, which would redirect you to the events page, as you can see, which has this event populated here on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, we have some key documents for your indulgence with. So the registration guideline is over there, membership confirmation letter, the code of ethics of IPSF, waiver of liability for the World Congress, as well as the special registration guideline for alumni, friends of the Federation, IMs, and as well as the chaperones. So when you click on the event, it opens again another page that has a button on the right hand side for reservation. So this is where you want to reserve your slots. So once you do reserve your slots, we will get in touch and let you know about the next steps, including payment. So the payment is the next step. And then the third step is just us requesting for evidence from your side of the payment, and then we confirm you. And all this takes place within a very short period of time. So if you register today, most likely by tomorrow, you get your invoice. And then if you pay within the 7-day window, you get your confirmation as soon as possible so that we do not leave you in limbo, and also try to just support you in doing other things, including flight booking and let's say visa application as well. So something that will be interested of you is just to know that all the tickets are available, and this platform is automated, so we don't manually control how many slots are remaining and all that. So once the slots are taken up, it will indicate here that there's no slots available anymore. However, since registration is individual based, you only get to reserve one ticket per event. So whatever is relevant for you, please select and then click register, which opens up the registration form. So I'd like to do a mock-up quickly. So if I take main Congress and ESC, for example, and I take up PCT, which is for Kenyans, okay, the button becomes active and I can register. So it's basically a form for your details. So once you fill this and you click submit or confirm registration, that is it. Yeah, so if you experience any challenges, don't hesitate to reach out to us via social media or via our available communication platforms to engage. And again, I'm also asking you to just keep up with our announcements, our updates by following our pages, especially the WhatsApp channel and Instagram page, for you to keep abreast with information that we're sharing. So at this point, I just want to do a last round of assessment. If there is no question or inputs, I think we can proceed to close and hopefully figure out how to further disseminate the information that we shared today with members, and ensure that everybody is up to date matters World Congress. Thank you so much for your attention, your patience, and of course, your time, especially with the different schedules that we are on. So I'll take the next 30 seconds to assess the flow, and then if none, we close. Okay, thank you so much, Lynn. Right, so thank you all for making time. I look forward to seeing you register, being more proactive so that we handle things progressively. All the best for tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to all of you, wherever you are. Bye.